You're watching St. Lucia's only 100% digital television station, Hot 7 TV.
In times of grief, Hot 7 TV and Hot FM are here to support you. We offer deaf announcement packages for both radio and television at affordable prices. In fact, when you choose to place a deaf announcement on Hot FM with more than 2 airings, you will receive a free telemetry on Hot 7 TV. At Hot FM and Hot 7 TV, we understand the pain and difficulty you are experiencing during this time of bereavement, and we are committed to helping you in any way we can. On Hot FM, deaf announcements are broadcast from Monday to Saturday from 6:30 a.m. On Hot 7 TV, they are aired on weekdays at 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. and on Sundays immediately following the live broadcast of the church service at the Babonneau Good Shepherd Catholic Church with Father Albert. If you are in need of such services, we are here for you. Contact us at 452-6040.
You're watching St. Lucia's only 100% digital television station, Hot 7 TV.
Now you can take Hot FM, Kiss FM, and Hot 7 TV with you wherever you go. Whether you're in St. Lucia or exploring our 4 corners of the globe. Our record-breaking app has already been downloaded over 500,000 times on Google Play and the Apple App Store. To bring you the best in HD sound, we've relaunched a brand new app. Get it for free in the App Store by simply searching Caribbean Hot FM HD. Listen to us in real time, anywhere, any place, anytime. We've added so many cool new features, like our live in-studio option, where you can see your favorite announcers and DJs at work. So download the app today. It's free. Spread the news. St. Lucia is now in HD around the world on the Hot FM app. Don't miss out. Join the fun and stay connected.
Now you can have your deaf announcements and telemetries heard on Sundays, right after the church service with Father Albert from the Babonneau Good Shepherd Catholic Church. That's right. On Sundays, have your deaf announcements and telemetries heard right here on Hot 7 TV and Kiss FM simultaneously. Call 452-6040 from Monday to Friday. Call and make arrangements for your deaf announcements and telemetries to be heard at 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. Monday to Saturday, and on Sunday right after the church service with Father Albert from the Babonneau Good Shepherd Catholic Church.
Hey there, all you trendsetters and future superstars. Are you ready to kickstart your career and blast into the world of broadcasting? Well, do we have some exciting news for you? Get ready to unleash your potential with the island's #1 broadcasting giant. We at Hot FM Communications are always on the lookout for fresh, innovative minds to join our dynamic team and take our empire to the next level. Where do you fit in, you ask? It's simple. Visit CaribbeanHot7TV.com and click on the Employment corner. Explore the plethora of opportunities awaiting your unique talents. Whether you're tech savvy, a social media guru, a creative content mastermind, or a charismatic on-air personality, we've got a place for you to shine. So stop dreaming and start doing. Check out our Employment Corner and let's make those career aspirations a reality. Hot FM Communications is waiting for your magic touch. Don't miss out. Your future starts here.
Hot 7 TV is the rising star of television in St. Lucia with our stunning 100% HD quality, fresh exciting programming, including a balanced professional newscast. We are now the fastest growing TV station in all time slots on cable. Additionally, over 10,000 households carry our plug-and-play antennas. Our mobile app has over 11,000 users locally and over 300,000 users worldwide. Keyword to find our free app in the App Store is Caribbean Hot FM. Swipe once for Kiss FM. Swipe twice for Hot 7 TV. It's compatible with both Android and Apple handsets. Go ahead, share the app, and share the most talked about TV station in St. Lucia. Hot 7 TV, for the viewer and the advertiser. It just makes sense. We watch trending. Hot 7 TV. Catch us on channel 117 Flow, channel 7 Plug and Play, or our website www.caribbeanhot7tv.com and our popular Hot FM app.
To advertise on Hot 7 TV, call us at 452-6040 or email us at hot7@caribbeanhottv.com. A fantastic package awaits you.
The opinions expressed on this TV program by the hosts, guests, and callers are solely their opinions and responsibility. They do not necessarily represent the views and opinions of Hot 7 TV or its affiliates.
Can't take it any longer. Can't take it no more. The people feel so insecure. We gotta tell it like it is, tell it like it is. We no love more than my live, love more than my live. We gotta make it our business. Our brothers and our sisters, they are being killed. We gotta tell it like it is, tell it like it is. We no love more than my live, love more than my live. We gotta make it our
Good night, viewers and listeners to Like It Is. I would like to welcome all of you, those of you who are tuned in on Hot 7 TV, 117 Flow, Kiss FM 105.5 FM, Hot Caribbean TV, or following us on live stream on UWP Facebook pages. I would like to first of all extend a sincere apology to all our viewers and listeners for this very late start. It is through no fault of mine. We are experiencing some serious problems here at the studio, but I am determined to bring you this show tonight because it has to do with some very critical issues that pertains to your national security and the future of our country. So please forgive us for this late start, and we're still experiencing some problems, but we are hoping that we can come through sufficiently well so that you can get the gist of the messages that we want to, and the information that we want to deliver to you tonight. I want to inform you that I have as my guest tonight the Deputy Political Leader of the United Workers' Party, Guy Joseph, who will be joining me after the first segment. And we will, because of the late start, we will be going a little overtime tonight to try to make up somewhat for the lost time. And if you have stuck with us and waited, I'm sure you will have no regrets. So welcome again, and a special good evening to all of you. Once again, my apologies. And without further ado, I would like to go straight into our SLP segment. And we'll just, before we go into the segment, let me just give you the usual quote from Albert Einstein. And by the way, let me just inform the government that he too suffered from autism, but he was the genius that he was. And here is a quote from him, Albert Einstein: "Whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters." And with this, I introduce to you our first segment, SLP, Secrets, Lies, and Propaganda.
So when will it be? When will we see them guys euphoria? When will they stop to Mama Kai? Practice this it and blatantly lie.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, in tonight's SLP, we're going to have a bit of an extended SLP segment tonight, because I want to deal with what has been dubbed by some people as the onslaught by the UWPs on Richard Frederick, exposing him for the liar and the toxic character that he is. And of course, in the process, he has earned himself many aliases. And as you know, he started off in his career in politics as a pit bull, as he was named by the SLP. He was subsequently reduced to a mongrel. Today, because of his antics, and because of his reputation and character, he has been renamed El Guapo. And so whenever I make reference to him, I could use any of those nicknames or actually his actual name, but you know we are speaking of Richard Frederick. Now, you know, talking about Richard Frederick, I want you to know, has more to do with our country's crime surge, the corruption that exists, and the attack on democracy that the government ministers are engaged in, than it has to do with the character of the individual himself. It is about an SLP government that has lost its moral authority to even speak on the subject of crime in St. Lucia, despite the upsurge in crime that we are experiencing. And of course, a government with no plan, no standards, and no concern or regard for its citizens. Crime is out of control here in St. Lucia under the St. Lucia Labour Party for some specific reasons. Indulging in hand-picking a shady, dubious character like Richard Frederick is certainly one of the reasons that has contributed to the crime environment that we are experiencing here in this country today. So, it is Philip J. Pierre who has unleashed Richard Frederick on the public. With a character like Richard Frederick, criminals today in St. Lucia feel empowered and emboldened. We must deal with this SLP phenomenon of lies, criminal facilitation, corruption, and lawlessness. Ladies and gentlemen, in all of this, there has been much debate about the record-setting crime environment that we exist in, and we seem to be having the only thing that is predictable about the crime situation in St. Lucia is that it seems that every year we're going to set a new record in terms of the number of St. Lucians who will lose their life, who will be murdered as a result of violent crime, especially gun-related violent crime. And so the debate has raged, and of course, Deputy Political Leader Dominic Fede, like many others, has been engaged in the debate and has made certain statements to which Richard Frederick has taken umbrage and has responded to it. But let me, instead of paraphrasing or misquoting anyone, let me play for you the first clip for tonight, which you're going to hear from Dominic Fede in his own voice. Clip number 1, please.
An investigation into these extrajudicial killings was done and led to the famous IMPACS report. Addressing the nation at the time, former Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony quoted the report and said this: "Crime in St. Lucia is facilitated by politicians, government officials, police officers, and businessmen. This raises serious questions about who the politicians and police officers were, according to the IMPACS report. Several police officers were questioned. To date, no politician have been required to testify in the inquiry. It leaves many vexing questions unanswered. Who were the ministers in the Stephenson King administration of 2007 to 2011 fingered in the IMPACS report as leading facilitators of crime? That question remains unanswered. The St. Lucia Labour Party, therefore, cannot remain silent with at least 2 of those cabinet members very comfortably in their fold.
Now, we just heard Deputy Political Leader of the United Workers' Party, Senator Dominic Fede, making reference to the IMPACT report by quoting Dr. Anthony, who was the former Prime Minister, and at the time he made the comments, he was the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. And quite interestingly, Dominic is asking some pertinent questions stemming out of the statement made by Dr. Anthony, who was then Prime Minister, which came out of the IMPACS report. Now, just to give some context and background, the IMPACS report was a report done by the Jamaican Constabulary here in St. Lucia, petitioned by the St. Lucia Labour Party under the then Kenny Anthony with Philip J.P. as his deputy. And of course, it was as a consequence of Operation Restore Confidence, because during the Stephenson King administration of 2007-2011, there was an upsurge in crime, and the response of the Stephenson King administration was to unleash the Operation Restore Confidence to put an end to the upsurge in crime, and that gave rise to accusations and allegations by the St. Lucia Labour Party that the police were engaging in extrajudicial killing. Now, just like Dominic, I want the answers to those questions. And probably even more than some of you St. Lucians, because I personally, Lenard Spider Montoute, was a member of the Stephenson King-led administration then. And when Dominic is talking about, quoting Dr. Anthony, of course, that there were ministers in that cabinet who were facilitators of crime, I would like answers to this, if only to get my name cleared and to put the St. Lucian population at ease and to know who is who in the political arena here in St. Lucia. Now, Dominic's revelation was not ignored. It did not go unanswered. Of course, I didn't feel the need, I didn't feel compelled to come out and speak, though I was a member of the Stephenson King-led administration then. But somebody felt the compulsion to respond to that clip by Dominic Fede that you just heard. And of course, it was no other than Richard Frederick who responded categorically, refuting what was said by Dominic Fede. As a matter of fact, let me let you hear for yourself, in his own words, the response from Richard Frederick. Clip number 2, please.
Dominic Fede, your lie continues. Your lie continues. I challenge you, Albert, I leave this for you, you know. I challenge you, Dominic Fede, to show me in that IMPACS report where ministers were fingered. The man does just say anything. Boy, stop trying to deceive the people. The IMPACS report mentioned no ministers. Ministers were fingered who? You. And another one. Who are the ministers fingered? You bloody liars you are. Stop it. You know, stop making up stories, Dominic Fede. Shameless, disingenuous, deceitful, dishonest. Where are the ministers fingered in the IMPACS report? As you say fingered, I look at you and you know, ministers, who are the ministers fingered? Where are they fingered?
Wow, what a vehement, what a forceful, vociferous response to Dominic Fede, refuting, as I said, categorically what Dominic has said. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you must be confused. You heard two politicians with two different versions of the same story. So, you don't have to be an investigator, you don't have to be any FBI agent. We know one of those gentlemen is telling a lie. Oh, there is a liar in this story. And so it is important that we dig further into the matter. And that is what Like It Is will do for you, to establish who is the liar. Now, before I do so, you know, I like to be fair. I am giving Dominic Fede, Senator Dominic Fede, and Richard Frederick 2 minutes. In the next 2 minutes, you are free to call. So please open the line, and ladies and gentlemen, it's just for those two gentlemen. I want you all to call this program here. Before I expose anyone, I want you to call in and either admit that you're a liar or establish that you are the one who is telling the truth. So the lines are open to Dominic Fede and Richard Frederick, and I'm only giving you 2 minutes to do so. If not, I will continue, and I will let my listeners and viewers know exactly who is more than likely the liar, who is practicing deceit and dishonesty to the St. Lucian public. And I've always said, if someone respects you, they don't lie to you. And so these are serious allegations that we must get to the bottom of, especially given the crime climate that exists in this country today, which we cannot continue to tolerate as more St. Lucians just keep dying as if it is the rising of the sun on a daily basis. That must be brought to an end, and we must tackle the crime situation from all angles at all levels. And so, is it 2 minutes yet? I'm not gotten a call from any of the gentlemen. Okay, I'm not going to wait forever for them. Are we getting a call? Okay. We just have a few minutes, a few seconds left, and so if none of the gentlemen call in, I will want to know whether or not, in fact, there was any minister reference in the impact report, and more than likely for us to try to determine who were the minister or ministers referenced in the impact report. Now, Dominic, you made a statement and you quoted Dr. Anthony in your statement. I hope you quoted him accurately. Richard Frederick, you were quite vehement, quite adamant about, you're quite categorical about the fact that Dominic was a liar. Is it? Okay, Dominic Fede is on the line, I was told. Good evening, sir. Welcome to Like It Is.
Hi, Spider. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. I hope you're doing fine, because I want you to tell it like it is to my viewers. You probably heard the beginning of my show where I played a clip that quoted you. I subsequently played a clip that quoted Richard Frederick, who clearly and categorically described you as a liar. I want to know who is the liar. So if you're calling to confess, go ahead and do so. If you're calling to stick by your statement, go ahead and do so before I continue my show.
Well, Spider, what is clear to me is how rattled Richard is, because the speech from Kenny Anthony, which I quoted, was categorically clear. It said that the IMPACS report revealed that there were corrupt politicians and government officials who were facilitators of crime. And all it said really, I didn't say in my statement who they were, but Richard Frederick, as he has done so often, whenever he feels guilty about a particular situation, he goes on to tell you about your mother. He tells you have autism. He tells you all kinds of stuff. You're short, dwarfism. So this is really normal from Richard Frederick, normal behavior. I basically quoted a speech from Kenny Anthony. The speech exists, and Kenny Anthony has said categorically that the IMPACS report on the extrajudicial killings did make it absolutely clear that there were corrupt politicians and government officials who were involved in the crime. In fact, the exact quote is, there were also police officers and businessmen who were facilitators of crime. So Richard Frederick has jumped the gun, really, because by him calling me a liar, he's actually saying that Kenny Anthony never said so.
Okay.
So he has actually gone a whole step forward, because we asked the question at the press briefing last week, who were the ministers that Kenny Anthony were talking about? Mm-hmm. But that has hit a nerve, Spider. It has really hit a nerve. And I have my deep suspicions as to why that would have riled up Richard Frederick in the manner that he's so rattled by a question from me, who are the ministers fingered in the IMPACS report? That question, the people of St. Lucia, I believe, have the right to know.
Okay. Well, so in effect, Mr. Fede, Senator Fede, you are standing by your story, and you're insisting on what you said.
I'm insisting on what I said, okay, because Kenny Anthony did say those words.
Okay, fine. So thank you very much. I'm happy that you called in. I do appreciate that. And I am hoping that we have Richard Frederick on the line, do we? Okay, Richard Frederick has not decided to call in. He has had more than 2 minutes to do so. So he has lost his opportunity to call in to clarify or to confess. And so I have Dominic's colleague, the other deputy political leader of the United Workers' Party, Joseph, in studio, who will be joining me shortly. And he too was a member of the Stephenson King administration during that time. To be honest with you, I don't see him getting riled up. He seemed to be indifferent about the situation. I will question him when he comes on air. But for your benefit, Like It Is has done some digging, and I want you to know that Richard Frederick is not the only one who goes to the archives. And I want Richard Frederick, if he's listening, and I'm sure he is by now, to go to his archives to find the document that I am about to quote from right now. Ladies and gentlemen, there are many people in St. Lucia there are a few people in St. Lucia who can vouch for what I'm about to reveal, especially the former prime ministers since Sir John Compton passed away. And those are namely Stephenson King, Alan Chasney, Dr. Kenny Anthony, and now Philip J. Pierre. They know what I'm about to reveal here this afternoon. And so, let us go to an excerpt from the IMPACS report. So I would like my technical people to place, because I'm going to be reading from the excerpt, but I want them to place the excerpt on screen for you so that you can read for yourself in case you think I'm just reading arbitrarily and making up any story. I want to indicate that the excerpt that I'm going to quote in a moment that I'm going to read to you is on page 30 of the IMPACS report under the heading Special Investigations Review. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to listen carefully. Let's get to the bottom of this. Here goes. I read, prior to the death of Reginald Jean, and I will stop here to say that Reginald Jean, the name Reginald Jean that is referred to here, is the gentleman that many of you know otherwise as Beige. Okay, so prior to the death of Reginald Jean, he had reported to the police that he did killings and stole drugs and money for a former government minister in the United Workers' Party. I can stop here to tell you I'm certainly not the one for whom he was doing killings and stealing drugs. I'm not the minister. I don't think Dominic is. If he was, he wouldn't be, well, he wasn't the minister then. Guy Joseph will tell us whether he was, or perhaps we wouldn't even have need to ask him after I finish reading those excerpts. I continue. Jean reported that a $300,000 bounty was placed on his head by RF. And he made a report to the Central Intelligence Unit, the CIU, where he was interviewed and a file compiled in respect of this report. I want to read this again. Jean reported that a $300,000 bounty was placed on his head by RF. Now, the minister, obviously they're referring to the minister here right now because they talk about the former government minister. I want you to examine all the former ministers. Do not exempt any of them. Examine all of them. And let us try to find out who carried the initials RF. Now, I was christened Peter Lenard Montoute, that is PLM. I changed my name subsequently to Lenard Spider Montoute, that is LSM. I am certainly not RF. If Dominic Fede was a member of that cabinet, I would wonder whether they made a mistake in that report. Instead of writing DF, that they put RF. But Dominic, you are exonerated. You were not a member of the cabinet, so you could not be one of the ministers being referred to. So, a $300,000 bounty. Now, when they say a $300,000 bounty, that means they pay somebody to kill you. All right? It was placed on the head. Okay? On his head, on the head of Beige, that is Reginald Jean, by RF, and he made a report, that is Reginald Jean made a report to the Central Intelligence Unit where he was interviewed and a file compiled in respect of this report. After this report, the bounty was raised by $100,000, so we're now talking about $400,000, as it was reported by Reginald Jean that a copy of the report was leaked to the minister. So, Reginald Jean, that is Bidge, is saying that after he reported to the police that a bounty of $300,000 was placed on his head by RF, and your guess is as good as mine, or your intelligence is as good as mine as to who was RF. I'm still going through the list of ministers to see who carried that initial. After he made that report, the report was leaked to RF. That is what Bidge is saying, Mr. Reginald Jean, that the report was leaked to RF, and as a result, RF raised the bounty from $300,000 by $100,000 to $400,000. So now there is a bounty of $400,000 on the head of Reginald Jean. Next paragraph. A plan was then put in place to kill Jean, that is Bidge, before the team departed to Martinique on a commando training course sometime in 2011. So the team they're talking about there is a team of the police officers, some of whom were involved in Operation Restore Confidence. So a plan was then put in place to kill Jean, that is Bidge, before the team departed to Martinique on a commando training course sometime in 2011. During the same plan, it was discussed that another minister from the same political party, United Workers' Party, also gave instructions to members of the task force to kill one Betty Clark before the election. However, this plan was not supported, as Betty Clark had close ties with, and they mention an individual. He's not a politician. I'm dealing with politicians tonight. They mention an individual that I will not call his name. If you notice, if you've seen it on the screen, if you're not following by radio, you're watching television, you'll see that I blotted out the name, okay, because I'm not going to call private individuals. I'm dealing with politicians. Politicians among the people who facilitated the crime. She is, now, I'm saying, it was not supported, as Betty Clark had close ties with whoever, and she was a good friend of that person. Clark is the sister of Arthur Clark and is regarded as an influential member of the graveyard community. Now let me just explain this sentence that I just read here. Betty Clark is said to be the sister of Arthur Clark, that is Arthur Clark, that Richard Frederick made reference to on his show, who he said that Rush Clark's mother was implicated in his death. That is the person they're talking about here. They're saying that Betty Clark was his sister, okay, and is regarded as an influential member of the graveyard community. It further went to say that she has strong political connections with the United Workers' Party, and there is reliable information that she is in an intimate relationship with a very influential member of the party, that is the UWP. Now, that's people's bedroom business. I'm not going into that. They are saying that she had intimate relationships with a very influential member of the party. So apparently that saved her life, along with the fact that she was close to one of the other individuals that were mentioned there. So, ladies and gentlemen, there are two ministers referred to here right now. I have a little difficulty. My investigative skills are not that sharp. I don't have training in investigation. So I am at a loss here now to find out who is that second minister. But for now, I will settle with trying to find out who is the first minister. I think there are enough clues here for me to determine who is the second minister. As soon as the show is over, there were about 15 or so members of cabinet in the Stephenson King administration. I'm going to list the names of 14 of them because I know Lenard Spider Montoute is not RF. I will list the name of the other 14 and see which of them come up with the initials RF. And that will tell me who the minister is. In the meantime, when we take a break, if you are faster than I am, you can go ahead and do your further investigation and arrive at who RF is. Ladies and gentlemen, based on what I have said to you so far, by now you must have an idea that Dr. Kenny Anthony, quoting from the IMPACS report, referring to politicians as part of the group involved in facilitating crime, you must have an idea of at least who one of those ministers was. And you would have known what part that minister played in the whole saga. So, I wonder why some ministers in that cabinet are all riled up by what Dominic quoted, and some are not. If you notice, I'm quite cool, calm and collected. Guy Joseph is sitting over there waiting to come onto the show. They're smiling as he always does. He doesn't seem to be perturbed. He doesn't seem to be worried. I will have to find out what is Guy Joseph's initial in a while to find out if he's just putting on or whether he is in fact RF. You know, I am slow, so I'll have to, take some time to work that out. So, ladies and gentlemen, before I leave the SLP segment, and I promise you tonight, I would be revealing some secrets and I'll be exposing some lies. Now, I've just done enough to reveal some secrets to you. And from that, you can determine between Dominic and Richard Frederick who is the liar. But more than that, very disturbing, I want to play another clip in a moment. And that other clip, I'm not the author of it. It has been in circulation for a while now, and some of you must have heard it. But this is a matter of public interest. And I believe that the public need to know of the veracity and whether this has been investigated. We want to know the clip that I'm about to play. We want to know whether there's any truth to it, because it's a serious indictment on the person that is being accused here right now, if it is true. And we want to know a serious allegation such as this, whether the authorities have taken any action in terms of investigating those serious allegations. And of course, we the public are demanding answers, especially in this environment of high criminal activity, where criminals seem to be carrying out the crimes with impunity and seem to be empowered and emboldened. In this environment, we want to know, we want some answers, and perhaps that will be the beginning of providing us some reprieve to the lack of security and safety that we have in this country. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am now going to play you a very disturbing clip that has been in circulation for some time. And as a matter of public interest, I want that clip played in case the Prime Minister and the Commissioner of Police have not heard it, so that they can hear it themselves, tied to what I just read from the IMPACS report, which the Prime Minister has, and members of his cabinet have. Stephenson King has also seen that report. And Richard Frederick has told you, in effect, indirectly, that he has a copy of that report, because if he can deny and tell Dominic Fede what is in or not in the report, it means he has seen it as well. So there are people with that report. So given that the contents of that report, plus the clip that I'm about to play you, I would like the Commissioner in particular, and the Prime Minister, who is Minister of National Security, to listen carefully, and if they have not done anything about it, to do something about it immediately. And if they have, to let us know what has been done about it. And if the individual named has been exonerated, please let us know. Clip number 4, please.
I am Bidge Auntie, and Bidge was Richard Frederick Hitman. You hear me? And when the guy that had to go to court with him on the wharf for the vehicle he had taken out without duty free too, he sent Bidge to go and kill the guy for $10,000. He had Bidge as his hitman, was going and kill people all about for him. You understand? The 5 guy that had died there too, that all these guys was his hitman. Yes. So when you see he saying all these things about you all, you can tell him, you can say, I will say it in patois, usa dia powerball that ki upad we pies mo. Face a upad we pies mo, because Bidge mo, ki do Bidge $45,000. When we say anti-Bidge. Okay? So Bidge c'était hitman ni. So
okay, you just heard that last clip, a very damning allegation, made by someone who describes herself as Beige Aunt. Now, if there is any perception of truth, the PM, and when I say if there's any perception of truth, because I'm anticipating, I'm expecting that if there has not been, that there will be an investigation to those serious allegations, given the fact that the minister cited is a sitting member of parliament and a member of the current cabinet of St. Lucia. I would like that the Prime Minister relieve Richard Frederick of his duties as minister until the investigations are complete. Now, further, in digging and preparing for this show, information reaching like it is from a reliable source indicated to me that Beige, which is Reginald Jean, gave a statement to the police providing details of his grievances with Richard Frederick and alleged that Richard Frederick had put a hit on him. Beginning to sound as if it is corroborating what was read from the IMPACS report? I don't know. That's not for me. I'm not an investigator. I am also informed that no sooner than Beige Reginald Jean gave that statement, and he gave that statement on the oath, I was told, and he was subjected to a lie detector test as well, a certain sitting Prime Minister alerted Richard Frederick of the allegation, and a bounty was set, which was increased. The bounty that was set, rather, was increased. And subsequently, Beige was killed shortly after. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't like to quote politicians, but if I may, I have to. Dr. Anthony, you sure knew what you were talking about when you said the entry of a certain politician into the politics of St. Lucia was frightening. I tell you, prime ministers have far more information than you and I will ever have. I must say, I am privy to a little more information than the average St. Lucian, because I, Lenard Spider Montoute, was well placed to get little snippets of what was going on, which I'm beginning to put together now, that is beginning to make a lot more sense to me today than it did then. Because as you would expect and anticipate, these are confidential matters. If a police commissioner or the police force reports matters of national security to a prime minister, he will not necessarily divulge all of it, even to his cabinet members. I just want to remind some people that at the time, Lenard Spider Montoute was deputy political leader of the United Workers' Party. That placed me close to the front row seat and gave me the opportunity to act on occasions as Prime Minister of the country. Enough said. Now, all of those serious allegations and revelations demands, and I'm calling on the Commissioner of Police, and I'm calling on Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre, the Minister of National Security, to address the issue. Address the issue once and for all. You have compelling reasons to call Mr. Richard Frederick to answer some questions, because by his own admission, he has facts. Okay, he has facts on detailed information on the killing of Arthur Clark, Arfo. Okay, he has detailed information on it. By the revelation from the IMPACS report, RF rather, was cited. You know, I'm beginning to look at the list of names of ministers there. So, but before I say anything, I'll let you do your own digging. RF was referenced, contrary to what Richard Frederick said, no minister was fingered in the report. RF was referenced in the report. And there was another minister reference. And trying to dig into the matter to get more information, I was told that when Beige made his report to the police, they subjected him to make that statement on the oath and to be subjected to a lie detector test. And after he did so, it is alleged that a certain sitting PM divulged that information and alerted Richard Frederick of the allegations, and the bounty that was set on Beige, Reginald Jah, was increased from $300,000 to $400,000. So you can do your addition and subtraction, see what corroborates what, and come to your own conclusion. I am not jumping to any conclusion. I want our government to do something about it. I want the police commissioner to take steps about it. And the reason why I'm saying so is because there's precedence. You would recall from the same cabinet of which I was a part, the Minister of Health, Mary Isaac, subsequent to the death of a gentleman who had some association with the Castries City Council, Mr. Victor Morris, who was murdered outside his house back in 2020, Mary Isaac made some statements alleging certain things, suggesting that she had some information, and she was called in by the police. She was called in by the police and questioned. And that, I am saying to you, even though she was my colleague then, that was the right thing to do. If you have information and you're divulging information, the police in their investigation should call you to account for the statements that you have made and to give them the information that you possess. Richard Frederick should be called by now. I don't think that has been done. And if it has been done, you must inform us whether it has been done and what was the outcome of that investigation, given the fact that Richard Frederick is a public figure, a sitting member of cabinet, a sitting member of parliament here in St. Lucia today. With the crime wave that we are experiencing, with the out-of-control murders that we are having, with the record crime statistics that we have in St. Lucia today, we cannot pussyfoot and play around with the crime situation anymore. I don't feel safe. Most of you out there do not feel safe, and not because Richard Frederick is walking around with a bodyguard and Philip J. Pierre is walking around with a bodyguard, and they do not give one hoot about what is going on, that if they are culpable, that they're going to continue to subject us to that kind of situation. If that is not addressed, it tells us clearly in this country that the St. Lucia Labour Party under Philip J. Pierre are accomplices to the increased criminal activity that is taking place in this country. They are encouraging it, they are facilitating it, and they are condoning it. Something must be done. And let us start from the top. Let us root out the problem of crime. If we are serious about fighting crime, start from the top. Stop targeting people at the lower levels who probably are just taking the instructions and carrying out from the examples of those who are so-called leaders in this country. It is about time that this matter be addressed. So, I also know too, okay, whether it, I want to know whether it is a fact that some 2 or 3 years ago, the Prime Minister and the Attorney General met with the authorities regarding Richard Frederick. But, and of course, the Prime Minister of this country, if I go to the authorities, they can tell me go to hell. It's confidential information that I'm not supposed to know. But they cannot say that to the Prime Minister, who is, in fact, the Minister of National Security, and of course the Attorney General, who is the legal officer of the state. Okay? It was said that the two of them met with the authorities some 2 to 3 years ago regarding Richard Frederick. But it appears that they are too scared to proceed with whatever action needs to be taken. Gentlemen, muster the courage for the sake of this country, for the sake of the climate, a peaceful climate that we so crave in this country. Do what's right. Do the appropriate thing. Investigate the matter and let the public know, to give us some comfort, to give us some reprieve, to give us some peace of mind. Let us know as you proceed what exactly is being done. Ladies and gentlemen, this for you was a special edition of the segment called SLP, Secrets, Lies, and Propaganda, as I reveal to you some of the propaganda and I expose to you some of the lies. When you hear people speak, do not base your judgment as to whether what they say is true or not, whether being honest, by the way they excite themselves, by the way they raise their voices, or by the aggression that they display when they're speaking. That trick has worked for a long time. It is not going to work again. And like it is, it's part of the force. We are joining forces to expose all the liars, to expose all the pretenders, to expose all the hypocrites. And those of you who are sitting in cabinet playing that role, you are accomplices. You have to come out, do the right thing, and do not be a crutch to your colleagues who are the ones in the forefront of crime and safety in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you. I ask you to stay tuned, because as we come to the end of SLP, when we return, I'll be bringing you my guests, and I'll be giving you our telephone numbers so that you too can call in to have your say on Like It Is. That was the end of a special edition of SLP for you tonight. Thank you.
Lie, you hear lie. Teacher Pussy say if you tell a lie, you go into hell as soon as you die. Why, sir? Can't take it any longer. Can't take it no more. The people feel so insecure.
Now you can take Hot FM, Kiss FM, and Hot 7 TV with you wherever you go. Whether you're in St. Lucia or exploring our four corners of the globe, our record-breaking app has already been downloaded over 500,000 times on Google Play and the Apple App Store. To bring you the best in HD sound, we've relaunched a brand new app. Get it for free in the App Store by simply searching Caribbean Hot FM HD. Listen to us in real time, anywhere, any place, anytime. We've added so many cool new features, like our live in-studio option, where you can see your favorite announcers and DJs at work. So download the app today. It's free. Spread the news. St. Lucia is now in HD around the world on the Hot FM app. Don't miss out. Join the fun and stay connected.
The man, square leg. That will do it. 8 scores of 200 or more for Brian Lara. Takes it again, Blake gets the silver. Play of the day for the Heat. Darren Jones.
Unforgettable moments in sports. Sports classics during the Hot 7 Nightly News.
In times of grief, Hot 7 TV and Hot FM are here to support you. We offer deaf announcement packages for both radio and television at affordable prices. In fact, when you choose to place a deaf announcement on Hot FM with more than 2 airings, you will receive a free telemetry on Hot 7 TV. At Hot FM and Hot 7 TV, we understand the pain and difficulty you are experiencing during this time of bereavement, and we are committed to helping you in any way we can. On Hot FM, deaf announcements are broadcast from Monday to Saturday from 6:30 a.m. On Hot 7 TV, they are aired on weekdays at 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. and on Sundays immediately following the live broadcast of the church service at the Barbano Good Shepherd Catholic Church with Father Albert. If you are in need of such services, we are here for you. Contact us at 452-6040.
Now you can take Hot FM, Kiss FM, and Hot 7 TV with you wherever you go. Whether you're in St. Lucia or exploring our four corners of the globe, our record-breaking app has already been downloaded over 500,000 times on Google Play and the Apple App Store. To bring you the best in HD sound, we've relaunched a brand new app. Get it for free in the App Store by simply searching Caribbean Hot FM HD. Listen to us in real time, anywhere, any place, anytime. We've added so many cool new features, like our live in-studio option, where you can see your favorite announcers and DJs at work. So download the app today. It's free. Spread the news. St. Lucia is now in HD around the world on the Hot FM app. Don't miss out. Join the fun and stay connected.
The man, square leg. That will do it. 8 scores of 200 or more for Brian Lara. Takes it again, Blake gets the silver.
sports. Sports classics during the Hot 7 Nightly News.
In times of grief, Hot 7 TV and Hot FM are here to support you. We offer deaf announcement packages for both radio and television at affordable prices. In fact, when you choose to place a deaf announcement on Hot FM with more than 2 airings, you will receive a free telemetry on Hot 7 TV. At Hot FM and Hot 7 TV, we understand the pain and difficulty you are experiencing during this time of bereavement, and we are committed to helping you in any way we can. On Hot FM, deaf announcements are broadcast from Monday to Saturday from 6:30 a.m. On Hot 7 TV, they are aired on weekdays at 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. and on Sundays immediately following the live broadcast of the church service at the Barbono Good Shepherd Catholic Church with Father Albert. If you are in need of such services, we are here for you. Contact us at 452-6040.
Now you can take Hot FM, Kiss FM, and Hot 7 TV with you wherever you go. Whether you're in St. Lucia or exploring our 4 corners of the globe, our record-breaking app has already been downloaded over 500,000 times on Google Play and the Apple App Store. To bring you the best in HD sound, we've relaunched a brand new app. Get it for free in the App Store by simply searching Caribbean Hot FM HD. Listen to us in real time, anywhere, any place, anytime. We've added so many cool new features, like our live in-studio option, where you can see your favorite announcers and DJs at work. So download the app today. It's free. Spread the news. St. Lucia is now in HD around the world on the Hot FM app. Don't miss out. Join the fun and stay connected.
The man, square leg. That will do it. 8 scores of 200 or more for Brian Lara. Takes it again, Blake gets the silver. Play of the day for the Heat. Darren Jones.
Unforgettable moments in sports. Sports classics during the Hot 7 Nightly News.
In times of grief, Hot 7 TV and Hot FM are here to support you. We offer deaf announcement packages for both radio and television at affordable prices. In fact, when you choose to place a deaf announcement on Hot FM with more than 2 airings, you will receive a free telemetry on Hot 7 TV. At Hot FM and Hot 7 TV, we understand the pain and difficulty you are experiencing during this time of bereavement, and we are committed to helping you in any way we can. On Hot FM, deaf announcements are broadcast from Monday to Saturday from 6:30 a.m. On Hot 7 TV, they are aired on weekdays at 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. and on Sundays immediately following the live broadcast of the church service at the Barbono Good Shepherd Catholic Church with Father Albert. If you are in need of such services, we are here for you. Contact us at 452-6040.
Now you can take Hot FM, Kiss FM, and Hot 7 TV with you wherever you go. Whether you're in St. Lucia or exploring our 4 corners of the globe, our record-breaking app has already been downloaded over 500,000 times on Google Play and the Apple App Store. To bring you the best in HD sound, we've relaunched a brand new app. Get it for free in the App Store by simply searching Caribbean Hot FM HD. Listen to us in real time, anywhere, any place, anytime. We've added so many cool new features, like our live in-studio option, where you can see your favorite announcers and DJs at work. So download the app today. It's free. Spread the news. St. Lucia is now in HD around the world on the Hot FM app. Don't miss out. Join the fun and stay connected.
In times of grief, Hot 7 TV and Hot FM are here to support you. We offer deaf announcement packages for both radio and television at affordable prices. In fact, when you choose to place a deaf announcement on Hot FM with more than 2 airings, you will receive a free telemetry on Hot 7 TV. At Hot FM and Hot 7 TV, we understand the pain and difficulty you are experiencing during this time of bereavement, and we are committed to helping you in any way we can. On Hot FM, Deaf announcements are broadcast from Monday to Saturday from 6:30 a.m. On Hot 7 TV, they are aired on weekdays at 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. and on Sundays immediately following the live broadcast of the church service at the Babonneau Good Shepherd Catholic Church with Father Albert. If you are in need of such services, we are here for you. Contact us at 452-6040.
The man, square leg. That will do it. 8 scores of 200 or more for Brian Lara. Usain Bolt storming through. He takes it again. Blake gets the silver. Play of the day for the Heat. Derek Jones.
Unforgettable moments in sports. Sports classics during the Hot 7 Nightly News.
Can't take it any longer. Can't take it no more. The people feel so insecure. We gotta tell it like it is, tell it like it is. We don't love more than my live, love more than my live. We gotta make it our business. Our brothers and our sisters, they are being killed. We gotta tell it like it is, tell it like it is. We don't love more than my live, love more than my live. We gotta make it our
Welcome back to Like It Is, to all our viewers and listeners, those of you who are viewing on Hot 7 TV, those of you listening on KISS FM 105.5, those of you who are tuned in through Caribbean Hot TV, and those of you on live stream on Facebook, we welcome you back to the second segment. And without further ado, I would like to welcome my guest, the Deputy Political Leader of the United Workers, one of the Deputy Political Leaders of the United Workers Party, Mr. Guy Joseph, who is the former Minister of Economic Affairs, etc., and the former Parliamentary Representative of Castries Southeast. Welcome to Like It Is. I think this is your first time, Guy?
Yes,
to Like It Is.
it is my first time, and I'm happy to be on Like It Is. Pleasant good evening to everyone.
But before we go any further, Guy, I want your initials.
My initials are GEJ, Guy Eardley Joseph.
Guy Eardley Joseph. So, ladies and gentlemen, my initials are LSM, Lenard Spider Montoute. And from what I remember, I was doing a little work, a little research during the break to find out who was that minister. So let me give you the initials of all the ministers that I remember. I don't know if I missed out on any, but let me give you the list that I have. I have LSM, which is Lenard Spider Montoute, like I just told you. Guy just told me he is GEJ, Guy Eardley Joseph. The others are EJ, SK, RF, so there was in fact an RF in the cabinet, EE, AJ, RB, KM, AMC, GM, NF, AD, and TCM. Now get your pen and paper because I'm assisting you in work you should be doing for yourself. You can Google it if you like to get the name, to make sure you have all the names. But it's LSM, GEJ, EJ, SK, RF, EE, AJ, RB, KM, AMC, GM, NF, AD, TCM. Figure it out. When they're telling you there was no minister fingered, the report that I actually read to you did in fact figure a minister figure out. You know, Guy and Spider are not the ministers.
So maybe you should run through the names of the others as we remember.
Maybe I'll do that as we remember. I will include the names. And that's
No, instead of just the initial, I will call the names of the persons who suit the initials.
No, we're not going to do that. Let the people, we're not spoon-feeding anybody on Like It Is. Let the people do their work themselves. Okay?
All right.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to open the line a little later, but before, I want to introduce my guests and, to have my guests speak with you if you have any questions for me, or preferably for my guests. Later on, we'll be opening the lines. Our WhatsApp number is 284-3499, and our landline is 450-0777. I will call out those numbers again for you when the lines are open, but we are happy that you stay tuned. We are having an extended program tonight because of the extremely late start that we had. And I'm happy to have Guy Joseph here with me. But and I have a number of questions for him, and I'm sure you have your questions. Start lining up your questions, so when we open the line, you can ask Guy. But Guy, the first question I want to ask you, you are now you've been in politics for quite a while now. Somewhat, 15 years?
Almost 20.
Almost 20 years.
Yeah.
And you have represented Castries Southeast on 3 consecutive occasions. And you are now a deputy political leader in the United Workers' Party. So, I just said that you represented Castries Southeast for 3 consecutive terms. So why are you putting yourself up once again? Well, your party has endorsed you as a candidate to contest the next general election. Why does Guy Joseph want to contest the next general election? What is it that you did not do in 3 consecutive terms that you are saying that you will be doing or you have to do for the people of Castries Southeast?
First of all, Spider, let me say here that it was never my intention to be a leader in the United Workers' Party. I have always been somebody who believed that wherever I am placed, I can make a mark and I can make a difference. So, you know, I never contested a position. I never put up myself for a position in the United Workers' Party. I was called to serve in that position, and I responded. While I spent 3 consecutive terms in Castries Southeast, one of those terms was in opposition.
That's
so
correct.
I had a 5-year term in government, 5 years in opposition, and then another 5 years in government. What I found is that Labour Party has a special hatred for Castries Southeast. And people may tell me that's cheap politics you're trying to play there. I can prove what I am saying. If you look at Castries Southeast, the 2nd largest geographical constituency next to Choiseul, and maybe the 2nd largest in population next to Grosili. Yet still, government facilities in the constituency was very limited prior to my entry in politics. And almost every single thing you would see in Castries Southeast was done by a UWP government. You know,
can I interrupt you, Guy? I don't want to stop your flow, but I just want to inform you. I travel through that constituency on a regular basis to go to my farm, and I follow the politics quite well. And so you didn't say everything. You said almost everything. I just want to remind you there's a flagship project in the constituency that you didn't do, and we'll come to that later.
Yes, I am hoping we will have that time.
Yeah.
But my concern is that the Labour Party has found a way to victimize this constituency, whether they win the constituency or they lose the constituency. And I will highlight what I'm saying. After Mrs. Rock represented the constituency, I think Odlum won the seat once. Then you had Clarence Rambali, you had Gregory Avril. Then you had 2 terms of Menisa Rambali, then myself, and now you have a Labour Party representative. If you look at the constituency, and anybody who lives in Castries Southeast can visualize the constituency. When I came in, there was not one proper community center in Castries Southeast. In fact, there used to be a small community center in Odsa. It was dilapidated. It was something that the community themselves had built. It wasn't so much of a government project. There used to be one in Labey, and that was built, that was converted into a daycare. So really and truly, you could not even host a proper event in Castries Southeast because of lack of facilities. But what I found, what was very troubling to me, was the 5 years I spent in opposition, how much the constituency was victimized by the St. Lucia Labour Party. And if you look at constituencies, and you know, having represented Grosili, If you take the number of votes that a Labour Party would get or a UWP candidate would get in Castries Southeast, it would amount to almost 3 times the amount of votes that another constituency would get. And I guess in the case of Grozile, it's 5 and 6 times the amount that other constituencies would get. Yet still you find the level of neglect was so high. And while we were there, I was just running through in my mind what had happened. Between 2006, 2011, we had started a number of projects. The Bexon Park, which is right in the Bexon Mac Junction. We had started a court in Sarot. We had started a park on the Mon. And we had started a housing project in Forest here. Labour won the election in 2011. But I won the seat in Castries Southeast. Labour stopped every single one of these projects. And I thought for a while that maybe it was because the people kept me as the parliamentary rep. And so I remember going to Dr. Kenny Anthony and telling him, it's only $35,000 to finish the Bexon Park, to install the toilets, the electricals and things, to get it open. And I was sent to Didas Fede. And then I remember Asen James and myself stood in the corridor of the Ministry of Economic Development. And after we stood up there more than 20 minutes, nobody attending to us, not even a chair. We're talking about 2 parliamentary reps elected by the people of their respective constituencies. And Mr. James looked at me and he said, Guy, I'm too old for this. I will not allow myself to be subjected to that level of disrespect by the people who are being paid by the taxpayers of this country. And we left. Because I would never let Asen go and stay myself. We were a team and we left it at that. I went to the parliament, I met Dr. Kenny Anthony, spoke to him. I said, oh, I'm going to make sure it happens. 5 years passed. And it was when UWP returned to office in 2016, every single one of these projects was completed. I can tell you, pass Sarot all the time. You see the community center. Even the steel that was there in the blocks was cut and taken away. That is how Labour Party operates. Now, coming to 2021, and you ask me why did I venture back into the political arena? Here are the projects that we started. We started a recording studio for young musicians and entrepreneurs who want to produce music in Castries Southeast. Through the tender process, a contract was issued. The work was started. The blocks were purchased. The foundation was being worked on. All the steel work had been done. The contractor is in court with the government to get his payment. Or if the case has not been filed, the case will be filed for that contractor to get the payment for up to where he had worked. And the new MP and Labour Party came in and they stopped that project. We had the Bexon market. You pass there, you see the containers. All the steel that Caribbean Metal did for the roofing, it is on the ground in the grass. That was going to create at least 20 small entrepreneurs in the Bexon community, young people. And when they talk about youth economy, you know, you create an environment where young people could own their own businesses. That was stopped. We had the lighting of the Bexon playing field. If you go there now, you will see grass has grown on the poles that we had brought in from the Soufre project to light up the Bexon playing field. I was told about a few weeks ago, a few of these was taken to other places to be utilized, while Bexon remains without lights. We said, outside of Castries, the cultural center, on this side of the island, coming into Ancillary, Canaries, Marigot, Castries, there's no major center. We have groups like Check and Pesh, and you have major activities. So we built a World Bank project of a facility that could house at least 1,000 persons for any major event you are going to have, with 200 car parks in the parking lot. You know why the Labour Party said they cannot open it? They say it have too many toilets. Now, 21 toilets for an event that a venue that's holding 1,000 people. And you don't count toilets by one because you have male and female. You have disabled. By the time you divide that by the number of persons. So think of if you have an event and you have 1,000 women. It's a women's event. Are you going to send the women to the men's toilet? So I mean, this is a World Bank. And this is a World Bank requirement, you know. When you design a project for the World Bank, if the window is in the wrong place, when they review it, they reject that, because we had that problem in Choiseul with the community center in Roblo and PI. We had to go back and redesign because they felt where the sun was coming from, coming through the window would make the building too hot, and it would make it difficult for the AC to function effectively, or it would be more costly, and you are doing sustainable projects through the World Bank. So it was a fully approved and accredited project by the World Bank. That was stopped. Then you have land in Deglo, and that one hurt me. You were in cabinet. You remember a family they were offered the land at 32 cents a square foot or 38 cents, and they said it was too expensive. We had gone in there, they have more than 20 different people living on that land. So we said the land was going to be divided and given to the people who have been occupying these lands for 40 and 50 years. Are you aware that the cabinet reversed the decision, the new cabinet of Philip J. Pierre, and sold the land for a single family, while all of these people in the area are deprived? Then we had the road from Lacqua to Odsa. That contract was issued to Nationwide. Nationwide, which is the same contractor doing the Chaussee Road presently. He had started, they had built drains and walls. From the time we lost the elections, they stopped the project. They are now patching holes, but if you see the state of the road from Lacqua back to Odsa. So when I look at all of these things, I have to conclude. There was a marketing board project, you remember we were doing at the Odsa area. That was stopped. Forestier, there was a community center. The contract had been issued. I even think they paid about $200,000 for the work that was done. Can you believe they sent an excavator to fill back the area that had concrete for the foundation of that community center? And they said Forestier does not need a community center. And that was money given by the Taiwanese specifically for that project. The roads in Bele that we had started was stopped, both old and new Bele. This silting, where we were spending $1 million to reduce the amount of flooding in Bex, now they're not even spending $200,000 in desilting the entire constituency. They had stopped the housing project in Forestier. We had to come back in 2016 and re-establish that housing project. We had acquired land in Odsa and in Bele, and these lands were being divided to give to the people who reside in the area. All of these, we don't know what has happened. I got a call from somebody at Sir Arthur last week, and I was surprised because the call told me, thank you for what you are doing for students at Sir Arthur. And I was surprised by the call because, it's 4 years I've been out. I've assisted a couple of students, but not to the magnitude that I used to. And the person said to me, so many students are dropping out because their parents cannot afford to pay their tuition. But when we looked at the records, we saw the number of students. I had paid for maybe close to 300 students during my 15 years in government, of students who attend Sir Arthur. We had the cemetery project. The National Cemetery was supposed to go in Bexon. That has been stopped. Can you imagine that? You as a farmer would know. Farmers could not get boxes, and they could not get oil. The last interview I did on the farm, and the farmers show me the banana trees. Once it have less than 4 leaves, they have to chop it down because the government did not make the oil available within the time. There was a water project in Wavin Croissant, and there was free Wi-Fi we had established in a number of communities. Every one of these have been stopped. Spider, the people are calling me. The people of Castries Southeast, they are saying to me, we need proper representation. And we are not hearing that you are not coming back. We need you to come back to finish the work that you started. Roads are the worst it has been in the community in the last 25 years. If you go into Flosac in Mac, if you go into Sandife and these areas, it's like every time UWP comes into office, we have to fix everything in Castries Southeast. So I believe that there is a hatred, and I'm still trying, I'm interviewing people, I'm trying to find out, why does Labour Party hate Castries Southeast so much that every project that is beneficial to the community, they will stop? Now, I want to say one thing on this. Governments don't build projects for themselves, and you know that.
Right.
When you did all the projects you did in Grozile, these days, if you have to use one of the centers you build, they can deny you permission.
Right. Yes.
Okay? So, when we build a hospital, it's not a UWP hospital. The community center that they did an interview and they said we should never build in Odsa, they have used it so many times. I have not had the opportunity to use it once. So when politicians want to come and talk, when you use the state resources, it is to build things for the country. So when we build a center, the center is for the community. When you build a school, the school is for the children of the country. When you build a hospital, it's for the entire nation. We need to move away from this thinking, ça c'est by flambeau, and ça c'est by labor. No. And if you are wise, you will use the limited resources in a profitable way. So everybody is making a fuss about St. Jude. Oh, Labour will finish Labour Hospital. They had better finish their hospital, because that's not a hospital that is suited for its purpose, an 80-year-old building. My understanding is the recent contract that was issued to be finished in 720 days from October last year is $65 million US. That's the same hospital they told us, 5 to 20. So hence my reason for deciding I'm going to hit the call of the people. We have to fix Castries Southeast. We have to fix St. Lucia. And we need a team of workers. And the team of workers can only come from the United Workers' Party, because evidence will show us that the Labour Party cannot do it. In fact, my information is the present rep for Castries Southeast say, I spoiled the people of Castries Southeast. So can you imagine giving good representation is saying that you spoil?
In other words, the people don't deserve that.
They don't deserve that.
Well, I hope the people are taking note, and, you know. But, Guy, I want to switch gears now with you. And, I mean, it is well known in St. Lucia, the venom with which the St. Lucia Labour Party has come after you from the time you entered politics. I mean, I give you credit for your courage and your resilience, that you withstood it all. And you've actually had 3 terms in government, and they didn't spare any of their resources in coming after you and so on. They made all kinds of accusations and allegations. And to be honest with you, my understanding is that there is what we call a special prosecutor today because of Guy Joseph. And so, to be quite frank, I expected by the first 3 months of the appointment of the special prosecutor that you would have to be answering questions, Guy, because the things that they accuse you of and so on. I mean, let's discuss this. I mean, and I brought you to this program. You are vying to become a parliamentary representative once again. So I know there are things that I don't expect to hear from you, unlike what I hear coming from some of the government ministers, especially Richard Frederick, with the vile kind of disgraceful language that comes from him, the way he's abusive, the way he's intimidating, the way, he just casts allegations and insults people on live television on a weekly basis and so on. We don't expect that. But I want you, despite the fact that they are opponents, and you have been meted with the kind of treatment that you have, all the allegations and accusations, I want you to comment on that for a moment.
Spider, we were in the cabinet together, and you would know. I have been disappointed by how both UWP and SLP has handled this matter. Because for the simplest reason, how long will everything remain an accusation and an allegation? The Robert Lindquist report that was sent
touch on that, yes,
to the government of St. Lucia, it was in the possession of the cabinet secretary, who was Ben Emmanuel at the time. I heard he's the new chairman of OKE board. OKE.
Or the Millennium Heights.
Millennium Heights Medical Complex. But Ben served them as CABSEC for a while. So I am certain that Philip J. Pierre had access to the report from Lindquist. And I can tell St. Lucians, the paper that Lindquist sent was 70 pounds in weight. So think of how many bales of paper would weigh 70 pounds. That is what Lindquist sent. Can they send that to the special prosecutor? Because by now, why is Philip J. Pierre asking people if they have information, give it to the special prosecutor?
I hope St. Lucians are seeing through that bluff, They have just played a game with us. And that is why the gentleman can laugh at us every time he's confronted with something serious, He knows he can just tell these people a lie and they'll fall for it. I mean, it's so insulting,
So in clarifying that, because I want St. Lucians to take time and to understand that money does not disappear into thin air. And they say, if you want to know what happens, follow the money. Now, I want them to follow my money because they're in government. I know there are present ministers in the government with accounts in Egypt, and I'm not in government. So don't tell me after 4 years in government, you have not found where Guy has money, where I have property, and what I have. So I want them to tell the people of St. Lucia, and if they cannot find the information, release the 70 pounds of paper they have to the media, and I want the media to find one thing in these 70 pounds of paper, because the next time you invite me here, I will come with the extracts from the Lindquist report, and I will show you that Guy is the person the report says the least about. It says more about Stephenson King than it does about me. That's why they're not releasing it. But I will.
But Guy, let me just remind you, upon resuming office, when the St. Lucia Labour Party came back into office, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre actually re-engaged
Robert Lindquist.
And up to now, we have heard nothing about that. And I think they were paying him, what, $30,000? And we do not know
US,
if it's a month, if it's a week, we do not know. And up to now,
I think Philip J. Pierre lied about this. I don't think they ever engaged Robert Lindquist.
I wish I would have taken you on that to say to you, well, if a prime minister says something, you can be lying, but I know better than that, so I cannot question you.
I want to make I want to take a couple of moments just to highlight a couple of things.
Yeah.
You said quite a bit about Richard. Richard is damaged goods. But Labour Party is still trying to sell him to St. Lucia. Now, sometimes you can sell damaged goods at discount prices. Richard cannot even be sold at a discount price because he is spoiled. He has to be discarded. And that is what Labour Party cannot do. Because remember, SLP had to eat their vomit on Richard, you know. They were the ones who said everything about Richard. And they are the ones who have come back and said that Richard is all right. Richard himself has had to eat his vomit. And I will say one thing to you. Spider, there are certain principles that Adventists hold to. Among them is how we observe Sabbath and being unequally yoked with unbelievers, whether in marriage or in business. So for me, you remember when they put nomination on Saturday, I took the position that I was not contesting the election. I refused to go and get nominated on a Saturday. So when they said I was a partner with Fresh Start, you know why it's impossible for me to be a partner with Fresh Start? Because Fresh Start operates their business on a Saturday. Adventists don't do business on a Saturday, and so we don't go into business with people. So while Fresh Start, the owners are Christians, they are Christians of a different faith and a different denomination. As a Seventh-day Adventist, I'm not perfect, but there are principles that I hold to. So among them is you will never find me transacting business on a Saturday, and I refuse to go into business partnership or co-ownership with any business that operates on a Saturday. So all the accusations leveled about me and Fresh Start, they were lies by the SLP. And they've had 4 years now for Philip JP to prove it. And what they have said, Fresh Start is the best company now. And Richard said he just started eating his vomit. So if all of that they said, if all of it is proven to be untrue, why do people want to believe that there is some corruption that I was involved in?
You know, Guy, I think the time has come for St. Lucians to forget blind loyalty, begin to look at the reality, assess and analyze things for themselves. Because you talk about investigation, you talk about allegations and all of that. Here you have a minister of government, a sitting MP, a sitting member of cabinet, handpicked by the Prime Minister, Philip J. the main spokesman for the St. Lucia Labour Party, Richard Frederick, who comes on the television and make revelations about the death of Arthur Jean. And you heard me read from the IMPACS report a while ago. Plus you heard Richard in his own words saying on television publicly that he has facts about the murder of Arthur Jean. That is Arthur Clark, sorry. Arthur Clark, I'm saying Arthur Jean. Arthur Jean is a friend of mine. I hope he didn't hear me say that. That he's dead. Arthur Clark. And Richard Frederick is implicating, because Rush Clark is now his opponent, he is now, attacking Rush Clark via his mother, which is very classless, which is very low, which is ungentlemanlike. That is something that we don't do here in St. Lucia. But he does it publicly, and suggesting that Rush Clark's mother was implicated in his father's. And he went on to give details about the murder of Arthur Clark, that is Arthur, talking about how many times the assassination attempt was made, where bullets got stuck on the actual detailed information. We want to know how Richard got to know all of those things. Were you there, Richard? Or were you supplied with that information by the police, as you claim that you have files that you get from the police? How did you know that? Were you involved yourself? Richard has to be questioned, especially a legislator in this country, a legal officer, officer of the law as a lawyer, a former police officer, to be sitting on a public television on a talk show and making those kinds of revelations. He has to be hauled in by the police. And I'm calling on the police commissioner, I'm calling on the Minister of National Security to have Richard answer, to those comments that he has made, indicating that it's a fact and, he has evidence and so on. He needs to provide that evidence. How long has he known that? Was he involved himself? That's why he knows. Was he present when those things happened? Was he informed by the police? We need to know those things. Because do not forget that the same Richard Frederick came on television and gave orders to the police commissioner, gave orders to the city police, and those orders were actually carried out. You know, today, we're hearing those things. And of course, the police commissioner acted with alacrity. I mean, there was no hesitation. There was haste. Within days, Richard's wishes, Richard's instructions were carried out. I am saying that in the same vein, by now, the police commissioner should have called Richard in to account for the statements that he has made, to have him questioned and carry out an investigation as to how he knew those things, and to try to solve that unresolved murder that Richard is so glibly speaking about in public. St. Lucia cannot continue this way. We have people in high offices, handpicked by the Prime Minister, who is the Minister of National Security, doing those kinds of things, abusing people on a weekly basis and so on. People, you're not taking those things for granted. These are the things that gives impetus to the crime situation in St. Lucia. These are the things that embolden and empowers criminals here in St. Lucia. When you have people behaving like criminals, if they are not criminals in reality, you know, that in itself, you know, takes away the legitimacy and the authority of the government to speak on crime. Hence the reason why the Minister of National Security cannot open his mouth. Even when he was in opposition, he made the comment, 4 murders in 2 weeks. That's, you know, too many. There were 4 murders on more than one occasion in a day. And you didn't hear him speak on it, you know. So, you know, Guy, I just want to say...
If I may just add, Labour Party knows all of that. And that's the hypocrisy. Look, in the 2011 manifesto of the St. Lucia Labour Party,
Guy,
on page...
Guy, you like to use that phrase. I'm going to use it on you. I'm putting you on notice in a while. I'm opening the line.
Yes, okay, no problem.
Right. All right.
On page 29, King bends over to Wycliffe. Cops take over Richard Frederick Customs. Government minister arrested. Another creditor demands payment from Mondesi. Could a murderer be the next Prime Minister of St. Lucia? And look at the picture.
Well, let me just... I cannot answer any of those questions, guys. But I just want you to know that a murderer, maybe the next Prime Minister of St. Lucia, is already in the Prime Minister's office.
So who is it that threatened Lady Janice? And by each of the statements have a picture of a minister.
Of a minister, yeah.
A former minister under the Stevenson King-led administration.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but Guy, is your picture there?
No, my picture is not there. And your picture is not there. Your picture is not there. You see, but that's the hypocrisy of St. Lucia. And when we tolerate that, and that's not the only one,
ladies and gentlemen, Guy is reading from the St. Lucia Labour Party manifesto.
Yes.
Okay? The Bible of the St. Lucia Labour Party he's reading from. That same Labour Party had their Prime Minister handpick Richard Frederick and put him in the Prime Minister's office, no less, as a cabinet member.
Look at another thing they said. On page 13, they said it is our party's mission to ensure that every St. Lucian has access to a package of guaranteed healthcare services. And the next point says, in this term of office, our party will implement universal healthcare. That was between 2011 and 2016. You come back in 2021 and you're telling people who are 80 years they can get healthcare, but they can only get free healthcare at the health center. But throughout the years, the health centers have always been free.
Right. Okay, so Guy, if we can take a moment, let me just inform my callers that the lines are open. I know you're itching to ask Guy questions. I'm sure you have more questions for Guy than I do. I want you to call in on WhatsApp 284-3499, or you can call on the landline 450-0777. The rules are, you have to be courteous, do not be libelous, do not be rude. But when you call in, the only rule of this program is that you have to tell it like it is. Here's your opportunity to tell it like it is. You can begin to make your calls and direct them at my guest. Guy, while we are with calls, you know, you were talking about the St. Lucia Labour Party. And you know the worst thing about it? There are complicit members of cabinet. Emma Hippolyte, Sean Edward, Alva Baptiste, Moussa Jean-Baptiste, all of them are condoning and encouraging what is happening.
Everything.
We hear Richard abuse women on a regular basis. You have Virginia Albert at Poyet. You have Emma Hippolyte. You have Pauline from Sozel. You have never heard a word from them. Even when our women are slain on the streets, on the roads in St. Lucia, not a word from them. I think we have a caller, guy. This is our first caller for the night. Welcome to Like It Is, caller. Good night to you. Please go ahead and make your contribution. Tell it like it is.
Yeah, good night. A question I want to ask you, Spider. You show a picture there like Richard and another guy, you said beach. Something happened. So what year did that happen?
I beg your pardon?
What year did that happen? When you show me the picture on the other guy, you see.
Okay, that happened between the period of 2007 2011.
So it happened when you was in power and
That's
you were the
correct.
deputy prime minister.
When I was a part of the cabinet that Richard was also a part of.
All right. So, and you said that you want the prime minister to investigate that matter.
I said me and the prime minister investigate. I read from an IMPACS report that the investigation was carried out by the Jamaican constabulary.
Yeah, and you said like...
Hold on, let me answer you. Who came to St. Lucia at the instance of the SLP government under Dr. Kenny Anthony. They carried out the investigation and they presented and prepared that report.
No, not that.
I was just merely reading from it.
I'm just asking you, you said you want the prime minister and the police commissioner to investigate that matter. You said that.
No, but caller, you need to understand, the statement made by the lady was made recently. Maybe about 2 years.
No, hold on. Recently, but it's something that happened. It happened
the
for a
statement
long while.
where you had the picture of
not
Bill
how it
and the
happened.
picture of Richard, where the auntie was talking about that. That happened during this present term in government.
No, I thought you were asking me about the impact report. No, I wasn't in government.
No. I'm talking about what you said about Beige and Richard. That's what I'm talking about. It's not impact.
No, I wasn't in government then. I only recently saw that.
No, that happened. It's not. That happened a long time ago. It's not now that happened. So
what happened a long time ago? The statement made by the lady.
You're just showing the now.
I'm telling you that the statement made by the lady was after my time in government.
Well, it happened. That clip, you just get it now, but that clip was there long. That time you was in power. That thing was already there. So why you all didn't investigate it now? Why is now you want the prime minister to investigate? Why you all didn't investigate it?
Let me just tell you why. Let me answer for myself. If I did not know about it, I would not investigate what I do know.
You did not know about it, and now you know about it?
It was the St. Lucia Labour Party that made the allegations.
No, don't tell me now.
Could you listen?
I heard it from your head now.
Let me answer.
I don't hear from the party. I heard it from your mouth.
You called to quarrel. Will you listen, please, so that you can get the answer that you're looking for? It was the St. Lucia Labour Party that made the allegations that there were extrajudicial killing and that there was a hit list, and they commissioned the investigation. Okay? So hence the reason why I would not have known anything about that then.
So if I listen to the caller, so if you kill somebody when one government is in power and the government changes, you're not a murderer again. Because it seems to me that's what
I wish we take those matters more seriously and stop trying to apportion blame about this party and that party. We're talking about our security. Murderers don't ask you for your political affiliation before they fire a bullet on you and kill you. Both Labour Party supporters and UWP supporters have perished in this country as a result of murder. So if you want to limit it to a UWP, SLP, that's your business. I'm not looking at it from that perspective. I live in St. Lucia. I have family who live in St. Lucia. I am a UWP. I have family who are supporting the Labour Party, and I am concerned about our security. That is the point. Do we have a caller online?
Yeah.
Yes. We're going to take the next caller. Caller, good evening. Welcome to Like It Is. Please go ahead and make your contribution. Tell it like it is.
Good evening, Mr. Montoute.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Guy Joseph.
Good evening.
Mr. Montoute, for the benefit as your first caller to Like It Is, I remember I was your first caller.
Yes, the very first caller on this program.
Exactly. I'm making a special request for the benefit of those who probably possibly joined the program late. Could you please read the paragraph where you read earlier with regards to the IMPACS report? And could you please replay that clip, that audio clip that you played after you read certain portions of the IMPACS report?
I don't want to spend too much time, but if I read the excerpt from the IMPACT report, I think it covers some of what that is on the clip. Okay, the report, I'll just go through it and read it right through. Prior to the death of Reginald Jean, that is Beige, he had, I'm just putting in that part, that is Beige, just so that you can know who Reginald Jean is. He had reported to the police that he did killings and stole drugs and money for a former government minister in the United Workers' Party. Jean reported that a $300,000 bounty was placed on his head by RF, and he made a report to the Central Intelligence Unit, CIU, where he was interviewed and a file compiled in respect of this report. After this report, the bounty was raised by $100,000, as it was reported by Reginald Jean that a copy of the report was leaked to the minister. A plan was then put in place to kill Jean before the team departed to Martinique on a commando training course sometime in 2011. During this same plan, it was discussed that another minister from the same political party, UWP, also gave instructions to members of the task force to kill one Betty Clark before the election. However, this plan was not supported as Betty Clark had close ties with Blanc, I'm not mentioning the name, and she is a good friend. Clark is the sister of Arthur Clark, that is Afo, and is regarded as an influential member of the graveyard community. She has strong political connections with the UWP, and there is reliable information that she's in an intimate relationship with a very influential member of the party. And I let you, caller, go and find out who is RF and carry out your investigations to find out which member of the UWP that she had an intimate relationship with. That one not my business. So, I hope I answered your question. Do you have another caller? No, not yet. We don't have another caller online. So, and of course the clip, it has been in circulation for a while now. I'm not going to go through that clip anymore, but it is very disturbing and is of a public interest, and we're hoping to satisfy us that there is still law and order prevailing in St. Lucia, that we are informed that something is done by way of investigation to get to the bottom of this. I want to welcome the next caller. Caller, good evening.
Yes,
welcome to Like It Is. Please go ahead and tell it like it is.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Guy Joseph and Mr. Spider Montoute. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
Corruption will never come to an end in St. Lucia. When you have idiots like this caller, when you have idiots like this caller who keep condoning the things that they're doing, first and foremost, when Richard was in the UWP, the Labour Party tarnished him. He was stained from top to bottom. Now they have washed him clean, okay? Now, this is a very small country. To have criminals so emboldened, no reason why everybody's doing whatever they want to. But you guys are doing a great job. Continue the work you all are doing. But one thing for sure, as long as Labour Party is in power, the corruption will not stop. Because they hired a special prosecutor to tell them how to cover their tracks. Now somebody else needs to make a contribution, so I'll talk to you guys and I'll just continue listening to the program. Okay. Good night.
Thank you, Colin. You know, Rick Wayne was fond of a particular quote, that all it takes for evil to continue is for good men to keep quiet, or something to that effect. I don't know if I have it correctly, but the gist of it is that. And we are not going to be quiet about what's going on. We are going to expose it, because it's about time that we root it out of our country. Good evening, caller. Welcome to Like It Is. Please go ahead and make your contribution. Tell it like it is. Hello? Hello,
caller? The phenomena of stopping projects started by the previous government.
Well, there you go.
Is an ongoing, troubling phenomena.
So did you say that to justify it, Colin? Are you saying, you're calling to make that point to justify it?
No, what I'm saying, what I want to ask is, what do you all intend to do if you all become the next government of St. Lucia? What do you all intend to do to put in place to stop this kind of behavior that is retarding the progress of the country?
Okay, Colin. I will let the Deputy Political Leader of the United Workers' Party answer that question. I'm not seeking public office, so he's better placed to answer that question than I am.
And I am happy to answer the question. In fact, we have had discussions on policy, and every project that is beneficial and that is good for St. Lucia will continue, whether it was started by Labour or it was started by UWP. And I can give you an example. The STEP program, we continued with the STEP program.
Thank you.
We continued with the NICE program, where the elderly care program. In fact, we made it better than how it was. So there are programs that are implemented by one government that will continue by another government. But I can tell you, caller, if you think GPH is going to continue on the UWP, that one has to be reviewed. Because we have to find a way to get back our $12 and not allow GPH to get $11 or $10, and the government is getting $1 while solid waste get $1.50.
Guy, I just want to challenge you. You talk about GPH, but I am concerned that for CIP, that a company that will build a hotel for $200 million will get $1.something billion, whereas the hotel will only cost about $200 million.
Oh no, well, all of that money, every passport that was undersold will have to pay the difference or the passports revoked.
Okay, fine.
Secondly, we have to find out where that money is, because this money belongs to St. Lucia. This money does not belong to Galaxy.
Right. Yes. Caller, good evening. Welcome to Like It Is. Please go ahead and make your contribution. Tell it like it is.
Yeah, good night, gentlemen.
Good evening.
By the way, you asking Mr. Joseph why he should come back, or he has served 3 terms. Let me tell you, let me give you a reason, one of the main reasons why he has to come back. From adult suffrage, where we had Maroc, George Odlum, Avrin, Clarence Rambali, many suffered 2 terms. Put all these people together. Guy Joseph alone has outperformed all of them together. Okay? Wow. That is the best ever parliamentary representative has ever received.
Next, I ask that question. Okay, caller.
Okay?
All right.
Have a nice
day.
Go
ahead, tell it like it is. I have no problem with that. Even when it comes to telling me, tell me like it is. And you gave some good reasons why you think Guy should come back. I just wanted to know the reasons. Anyway, I think we have another caller online. Caller? No? No, we're having some difficulty with this call. Yeah. Okay, I think, Guy, we're running out of time. So I want to give you the rest of the time that we have for you to wrap up, because I don't want to keep my listeners too late.
Yeah.
Though we started late and we went a little over time, we can't keep them too late, but please go ahead and wrap up.
Spider, if UWP was elected into office 2021 to now, by now we would have had unemployment benefits in place. And when UWP returns to office as soon as Philip J. calls the election, we are going to implement or introduce unemployment benefits. And I want St. Lucians to understand how this works. If you are working, you pay in your NIC contributions, you'll have some insurance coverage. If you lose your job for a period of 3 to 6 months, we have not finalized how long it's going to be, you are going to get a percentage of your salary to carry you through until you get your next job or the time period elapses, whichever comes first. Secondly, We would have expanded the monthly assistance to the needy. The Labour Party, we understood, have taken off 700 people from the poverty list. UWP will expand the monthly assistance and make more accessible to more people. We are going to save parents money on school books, and that is going to be reduced to 10%. Now I am hearing, and I'm announcing it on Like It Is, I'm hearing that the government is planning to propose, apart from keeping the 2.5 levy, a 2% VAT to finance health. That is what they say.
I mean,
so I am waiting to hear, and we are going to introduce medical insurance for all St. Lucians, regardless of your pre-existing condition. And people have been saying, oh, UWP need to stop criticizing Labour and tell them. We know what we are going to do. Everything we said we were going to do previously, reduce VAT, we reduce VAT to 12.5%. We said we were going to waive property tax, we waived property tax. We were going to increase school transportation, we did so. So
we increased the list of the
by 1,000.
Yeah, by 1,000.
By 1,000, and we went out and dealt with COVID in a world-class manner. So UWP has shown, under the leadership of Honorable Alan Chasney, we have the capacity and the capability. We were able to turn the economy around in 3 years and undo what Kenny said something had happened that had never happened before. So I want to assure St. Lucians that when you re-elect UWP, the work is going to be hard, but we are going to work day and night to put this country back on the right path.
You know, Guy, everybody have their pet thing. I mean, the insurance, health insurance, at my age now, that's very important for me. I also want to remind you that the e-books with the textbooks downloaded
and the lesson plans,
that's very important to me. I want that done as well. So I want to thank you, Guy. It's a pity tonight was not a normal night.
We'll have to come back.
I certainly will have you to return, because as soon as you didn't talk about your candidates, I wanted to talk about that, but as soon as you name your slate of candidates, I will be having all of you one by one or two by two to come on this program here to tell the people like it is in terms of what you plan to do, what you're going to do that is different to what is happening now, and so on. I understand, Guy, that on Sunday you're having your delegates conference, and the following Sunday, which is the 2nd of March, is a very special day. Tell us about that.
Yes, it is convention, and it is the launching of some of our candidates for the next election. So in the morning, the early part, the mid part of the morning, we go into convention, and that is going to be followed up by a massive rally.
What do you say will happen during that rally, Guy?
We're going to present candidates.
Okay. I cannot wait.
Labour Party think we are not ready. Tell them call the election, because we are ready.
Wait, you know.
And I know, Spider, I am not at liberty to disclose on your program, but at our last meeting, another 8 candidates were endorsed by the United Workers' Party.
You think if I bring the political leader, Alan Chasney, I can probably get him to spill the beans?
No, you have to come down to Denry on in the 2nd of March.
Don't worry yourself. I expect most of you listeners to be there. Those who in the diaspora and otherwise cannot make it, don't worry yourself. The Monday night you'll be getting the full slate. As soon as they drop it, I will drop it. I want to thank you, Guy, for coming on the show tonight. I'm sure you provided some useful information to our listeners, our viewers. I want to thank all of those of you who made your calls into the program tonight. I want to thank all of you in the diaspora who have been listening, and those of you who have been listening around St. Lucia. I want to thank you for tuning in to another Like It Is. And please join me next Monday. Hopefully, this time we're going to actually start at 8 for another episode of Like It Is. But I want to invite you on Thursday morning to join us on Rev Up St. Lucia or on live stream Facebook, UWP Facebook, for the Meet the Opposition, where I will once again be your host, sitting in for Nancy Charles. And so on Sunday, we have delegates conference. And of course, we go back into our week of activities, but I look forward mostly to the 2nd of March. Save that date, put that in your diary, and do not forget, I expect to see all of you. It is actually, I've been saying Dennery North, because somehow I mistook Lakai as being part of Dennery North. Lakai is actually part of Dennery South, but that is where the action is going to take place. I want to thank all of you and wish you a very good night. See you on Thursday. And of course, you all, Like It Is fans, will be tuning in again next Monday. Thank you and good night.
The people feel so insecure. We gotta tell it like it is, tell it like it is. We don't love how them a live, love how them a live. We gotta make it our business. Our brothers and our sisters, they are being killed. We gotta tell it like it is, tell it like it is. We don't love how them a live, love how them a live. We gotta make it our business.
The opinions expressed on this TV program by the hosts, guests, and callers are solely their opinions and responsibility. They do not necessarily represent the views and opinions of Hot 7 TV or its affiliates.